Today we're going to be doing an apple crumble. So we have a dish, we just wanted any round dish. I suppose you could make a square one, it doesn't really matter, we just wanted a round. We've got 4 large apples which we'll peel and chop, and core as well. So we've got roughly, there's 2 tablespoons of white sugar, brown sugar and coconut. Now it's only roughly 2 tablespoons because I didn't level them out, so it's not leveled. They're just spoon chucked in there and whipped out into the bowl. So we have a bowl for mixing in the crumble in. We have half a cup of self-raising flour, or can also be known as SR flour. Just depends where you are in the world. So we have a saucepan too, because what we need to do is that's where we've got to cook our apples. We have to pretty much stew them on a low heat. So what we're going to do is we're going to core these apples first, well, peel it first because they need to be peeled. Just going to quickly peel these. So there we have 2 types of sugar. The brown is for the crumble, and the normal plain white flour is just, oh, not white flour, I mean white sugar, sorry, is for the stewing of the apples. We also have water here, so there's only a small amount of water in there. There's about this much in there, so there's not much. So that's for the stewing. Now you don't have to drain anything with this. You just, once the apple has cooked, we just whip it straight in the bowl there that will grease up before we put it in there. Now it doesn't matter if you've got little bruises on them. It doesn't really particularly matter too much because we're going to be cooking them anyway. But you can sort of slice around them if there are any spots like that, if you don't want that. We're just going to cut them into slices first because it's easier to chop them like this, and we don't want that core in there either. So we're just going to slice all our apples like this. So we don't want any of the seeds or anything like that. So when we slice these, we're actually going to chop these straight in here. And after we chop them all, we're going to put in the sugar and the water here. So just chop them up. They don't really have to be diced, they just have to be chopped, because they'll go nice and soft when they're cooked. So I'm just going to chop them quickly. Now, probably one of the best ways to have this is probably the apple crumble, fresh out of the oven, with a scoop of ice cream on the side. So that's probably the best way to have it. Now, this isn't too time consuming. They won't be in the oven too long. Actually, we should preheat that right now. So we're going to put it on about 150 degrees. Between 150 and 80. So it just depends on your oven. As we stated in other videos I've been using the oven. If your oven doesn't have a fan force in it, you just increase the degrees in the oven, temperature, sorry. Increase the temperature by 10 to 20 degrees. I'm a bit tired, sorry, you'll have to forgive me. It's been a long day. It's not over yet either. So I'm just going to chop these. Now this is, I don't know, you don't really have to have it as a dessert. You can have it with a cup of tea if you want, it doesn't really matter. It's something that's relatively easy, and most of the ingredients are already in your house. I don't know if you'll have brown sugar in your house, but you'll definitely have butter, and you'll probably have sugar. If anyone has coffee in your household, you will have sugar. And water, well, everyone's got a tap, so that's fine. That's one done. Let's go peel this one, next one here. Yes, it's been a fairly busy day today, so I'm a bit tired. So if I fumble or stumble, you'll have to forgive me. And I just had a nap too, so my brain's not working at full capacity yet. My eyes fell down when I wasn't looking, so. Peel all these you just continue to peel until like it comes off the first layer of skin, because it's only bruising, which happens when you got like other stuff in the cupboard, because you put our apples in the cupboard and not the fridge, so all the movement in there is when they get bruised. You have to be careful when using these because they are actually quite sharp. It's not going to come out. No, it's just going to break. There we go. So we just have to quickly chop them. They don't really have to be like tiny little pieces because they will still a bit. And so it's an apple crumble, so it's really just a whole lot of apple in there. You can do small pieces if you please, but it just depends on what you want to do. Now this will probably take about 15 to 20 minutes to cook. Maybe even less depending on the degree, the heat in the oven, sorry. Like the temperature you've got it set at. So if it's a bit hotter, you put the temperature a bit hotter. You just have to leave it in there until the crumble is brown. The brown sugar will start to melt a little bit, or not melt, but caramelize. So when the crumble has gone that browny golden colour, then it will be ready to take out. We might have to just adjust things here according to how much apple there is. I think 2 apples might be enough because these apples are fairly big. We'll see when we put it into this dish here. If it needs more, we can always together, but I think that's more than enough. Might just do one more. I don't think we need those 4. We'll just do one more. So I don't think we need 4. There's actually quite a lot of apple in there. So we'll just do 3. There. And just slice that. Down here. Sorry, that was just a fly hanging out. Screen doors have a few holes. The cat's torn them open a bit. It's a pretty hot summer's day. So and we don't want to use any insecticides or anything like around the food. That is a no-no. So if you're doing or preparing food, do not use any of those sprays. Do it until like it's out of the area or there's no food around, because you don't want insecticide on the food you're going to eat. Now you can put this on a high heat, but it's recommended that it slowly stews so the flavours get worked their way in there, like the sweetness of the sugar and all that sort of stuff. So it's sort of like a medium to low heat. You want this at not particularly very high. Now it shouldn't take too long for the apple to actually start to stew and soften. So they only need to be there until, like in the pot, until they soften. We've only used green for this, but I suppose there's no harm in using red apples or apples. So it shouldn't make too much of a difference. If you don't like red apple on your, you can put red apple in there, but I never have done it. So you can probably choose between red and green. We'll come up with some alternatives later of seeing what else we can do with apple crumble later on. But like exchanging the apple for something else. So we got our water here. I'm just going to put that in there. We're going to put this all in before we put it on the stove. I just want to see if that's actually enough water or not, because that's probably not enough water. So I am going to put some more in there, because that is definitely not enough for the amount of apple that we're going. So you can use cold water, it doesn't matter. Put it about half a cup here, because that is definitely not enough. And since that's not enough water, that won't be enough sugar either, so I will need to put some more sugar in. Probably another 2, maybe 1.5, because that was actually watered down a bit, so that should be enough now. It's not going to close me, that's alright. So that should be alright now, so we're just going to put this, mix it in first. Now we're going to put this on the stove. So this is pretty much a syrup in a way, so you actually don't chuck any of this out, you actually use it all. So you can turn that down a bit. That's well, it's not on a very, very high flame. So while that is doing that, we are going to grease the pan. The casserole dish, really. So let's get the towels here. That. Now we're going to move on to the crumble, which is just the self-raising flour or SR flour in there. We don't need much because it's just to go on the top. I had a spoon here, another one somewhere. Oh, I'll just use the spoon then. This is the one I mixed with the apple and the sugar and the water. So I need about 2 tablespoons of butter. And we just rub this in with our fingertips. But we need to go to the apple. And you gotta keep an eye on it. That is very hot, but these apples aren't softened yet. So you just gotta keep an eye on that, but well, that's doing its own thing. We're just going to make up the crumble. Because there's time to kill sort of thing. So we just put that in with our fingertips. So make sure the flour's got that buttery colour to it. And then we add in our brown sugar and coconut. Also rub that in with our fingertips. Until the sugar's put in properly and everything's sort of combined. And we don't even need milk for anything like this, so you don't need to have milk in with this. We don't put milk in. So that is that now. Apples. Welcome back. Our apples are done. So as you can see, we had to put a lid on them and add some more water in because we're just not getting all the apple. So we'll put a bit more in there to cover the apple, and that's it. Now there's probably a bit too much apple juice in there, but we'll see how it goes. So we're just going to scoop it into the casserole dish. So as you can see, it's nice and soft. So I'm just going to put that in there. Now we're going to put it around in the base there. You just be careful because this is actually pretty hot. So just be careful. Because you do want some juice in there, but you don't want too much. So we just want to put that in there. It smells really good. It smells nice. And since we had a break, I'm more awake now, so. Because when we started, I had literally just woken up from a nap. His dad walked out and he goes, "Are you ready now?" Because I put everything on the bench beforehand, but the camera was still charging. And he goes, "You ready now?" Yeah, I'm ready. But I had just woken up, so I was fumbling with my words a bit. And that's enough juice. We're just going to get the rest of this apple out. There's a few more pieces of apple in here. So yes, I'm more awake now. The brain's working now, so that's good. So just put that in there. that's enough. There you go. There's only a little bit left of apple in there, but that's more than enough. And we've got plenty of juice in there too. So we don't need the rest of that. And now what we do is we just sprinkle it all over the top until it creates a layer over the apples. So no apples are really... So you can just sort of tap it on like that too. Just be very careful because they just come off the stove and they are pretty hot. So we're just going to put that on there. It doesn't have to be a really thick layer either, it's just got to be laid over. And that brown sugar will caramelise when it is cooked. So it'll probably take 15 to 20 minutes at 150 degrees Celsius with a fan forced oven. But you just regulate the temperature a bit more if you don't have a fan forced oven, as we said earlier. But you will be able to tell when it's ready because it'll caramelise on the top from that sugar. So, you should know when it's ready. Just going to put the rest of this on. So the best way to probably have this is with a scoop of ice cream on the side and, well it's not straight out of the oven because it'd be too hot to eat, but a warm temperature. So that's probably the best way to have an apple crumble. So there's no pastry on the bottom or anything like that, it's just a bit of the crumble on top, which you've seen how to make it earlier. So just put that there. And then we have that. So that's what it looks like. Now it'll brown and caramelise in the oven, and that's how you'll know it's ready. I'm going to get this on and sprinkle these on. So it'll brown and caramelise in the oven, and that's how you'll know it's ready. So I'm going to open it all first. Now we're preheating our oven so it's already hot and ready to go. So I'll just pop that in there. Keep the necklace away from the skin because I find that hurts after you open the door because it's hot. Okay, so we'll be back when that's ready to go. We'll see you shortly. Hello everybody, welcome back. So I just shut off the oven just a couple of minutes ago, but it's ready. So there's a bit of caramelization going around the outside and it's nice and brown. So there we have it. Now since we have to go pick up my little brother Dave from school soon, we're not actually going to put any ice cream with it, but we will show you what it looks like on the plate as I just cut a piece out because we're a bit short of time now because this actually took longer than I expected it to take. So I'd probably recommend that you turn the temperature up a bit on the oven, so not 150 degrees, probably about 180 would suit it better. So I'm going to try and get that out without breaking it, because there is no base. The base is the apple. I'm just going to get an egg flip, hopefully that works. Don't touch the pot, that's hot. That's not going to work. Spoon might work. So I'm just going to cut a small piece out. So I didn't take all the apple out with it because it fell apart a bit because the apple's quite soft. So there you have it. So there you have apple crumble. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time for another video.